6 p.m. in Tinga, that is in Yaoundé, central region of the country. Good evening, dear viewers of Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for taking the rendezvous with us on this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. Representation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. First, our major stories. Mark Breeze, head coach of the Indomitable Lions, unveils the list of players to play for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Meantime, the conflict between the Ministry of Sports and the Cameroon Football Federation continues to deepen. The head coach appointed by the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Mark Breeze, maintained by the Cameroon Football Federation, boycotts a meeting organized at Fecafoot's headquarters in Tinga, Yaoundé. Away from that, we'll take you to the southwest region of Cameroon, where a B element known as Chief Ewume Eko John, commonly known as Moja Moja, gets dismissed from the Rapid Intervention Battalion B and sent to the infantry. In the release, Colonel Peline Francois cites indiscipline and absenteeism as reasons for his dismissal. Also in this edition of the news, we'll take you out of the country where the socio-political atmosphere remains unstable in Chad after provincial results declares Muhammad Idris Deby as the winner of the presidential elections, legitimizing his grip on power. General Deby won 61.3%, while his closest rival, Prime Minister Sucé Masra, got 18.53%. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. If you are just joining us, then no, this is a 6 p.m. edition of the news on Equinoxe Television. At least 5 persons have been reported dead under unclear circumstances in Bonaberi Douala subdivision. According to witnesses, the victims died after consuming a locally made drink commonly known as afofo. The lady who was reported to have sold the drinks has been arrested and is presently in detention alongside her sales girls for investigations. Our reporter Malaglary was in Bonaberi and compiled this report for us.
It is a calm atmosphere, a place known to be one of the busiest local drinking spots in Bonaberi. This is following the death of 5 people here after they consumed a local drink commonly called afofo or odongtol.
Lundi, je suis sorti, je suis venu au travail. C'est moi qui ai pris la première chaise. Cette chaise, j'ai déposé là. Je suis assis là. L'un de mes collègues est venu me donner son enfant, nous sommes assis là. Il commande le fort, c'est venu de 50. J'ai pris ma part, j'ai déposé. Lui, il a consommé sa part. J'ai pris ma part, j'ai bu. Nous sommes quittés, laissés ceux-là sur place. Nous sommes partis, nous sommes descendus. Nous, on a trouvé une population là. Quoi, il y avait celle qui avait sa fille. Sont décédés.
According to witnesses, the drink was poisoned by an individual. Amongst the victims is a junior brother to the young lady, the owner of the drinking spot.
Cette boisson a été consommée par d'autres personnes. Donc on ne comprend pas comment d'autres personnes ne sont pas mortes, mais ces 5 personnes sont mortes. Ils ont consommé la même boisson la même journée.
The lady in question has been arrested and is presently in detention at the Bonanja Judicial Police.
On ne sait pas comment expliquer cela. On attend aussi l'autopsie pour être situé vraiment sur la réelle cause du décès de ces 5 personnes. Parce que c'était des connaissances, amis.
While the remains of the 5 persons have been deposited at the Bonaberi Protestant Hospital, as investigations have been launched to determine the exact cause of their death.
And on to something else, enormous material damage has been recorded following a fire outbreak that occurred in the early hours of this Friday in Bafang, west region of the country. The wild flames consumed a shop and extended to a driving school in the town of Bafang. Though the actual cause of the fire isn't known, the victims suspect that the fire was provoked by frequent electricity cuts. We have details with Asia Luciliengo.
The uncontrolled fire began at midnight on Thursday, breaking Friday, ravaging a shop and a driving center. A victim explains that the driving center closed at 8 p.m. on Thursday, but to their greatest surprise, they received a call at midnight informing them of a fire outbreak. The inhabitants regret that Bafang has not had water for some time now and a firefighting brigade. Therefore, when a fire outbreak occurs, they are obliged to make use of boreholes around. Vital documents and other valuable items were reduced to ashes.
Mais chose curieuse était que tout était parti en sang. On a pu récupérer ce que on a pu.
C'est-à-dire que c'était sous tension alors.
Bon, on ne sait pas ce qui s'est passé. Donc, on serait venu avec une tension très vive.
Oui, ça a explosé.
Though the actual cause of the fire has not been determined, the inhabitants and victims suspect it might have been caused by frequent power cuts and high voltage, which the town of Bafang has been experiencing.
From Bafang in the West region, we now take you to the Southwest region as the General Coordinator of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, the B, Colonel Peline Francois, has sanctioned 2 members of the lead force, one of them being Ewume Eko John, Chief of Boassa Village in the Southwest region, popularly known as Moja Moja, who recently got stripped of his position due to reports of absenteeism and indiscipline in the force. Innocent Aze tells us more.
Ewume Eko John, also known as Moja Moja, a member of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, the B, and traditional ruler of Boassa Village in the Southwest region, was stripped of his position in the elite force on May 8, 2024 by Colonel Peline Francois, General Coordinator of the B. In a 2-page release, Moja Moja, who was bent on cleansing the Southwest region from separatist fighters, he claims were from the Northwest region, resulting to torture of civilians. He accused of protecting the militias and killing of suspected Amba fighters has been assigned to the Infantry Division due to several reasons outlined in the communique. The now former B member was increasingly unavailable, resulting in a decline in his performance in the force, and his actions as traditional ruler tarnished the image of the B. This has sparked widespread reactions on social media, with majority applauding satisfactorily to what the term well-deserved first-degree humiliation. Reacting to his removal from the elite force, Ewume Eko John published a 3 minutes 51-second video in which he reveals he is being treated this way for turning down several calls since 2022 to be part of a plan to overthrow the regime in power in 2025. It should be noted, the colonel's communique does not only affect Moja Moja, but also Ewodo Noir Pierre Maquet for the current incidents of indiscipline, including failed disciplinary proceedings twice, insubordination and violation of guidelines, including intoxication on duty in a B unit.
And now, civil servants in the crisis-stricken northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon have once more been told to be on their duty post despite rising insecurity prevailing there or be sanctioned. The call came this time around from the Divisional Officer for Nous in the Northwest region. Babila Jonathan spoke to a human rights advocate and compiled this report for the 6 p.m. news.
Officer of Nous in the Dongamantum Division in the crisis-stricken Northwest region of Cameroon issues an ultimatum to civil servants in his area of command who are said to have abandoned their duty post. They have been given 8 days to return to their duty post or be subjected to disciplinary measures. May 16, 2024 is the deadline given by the divisional officer to the state servants to correct what he has qualified as an unpatriotic behavior. Right advocate Amadou Tante raises concerns about such ultimatums from administrative authorities in a volatile security situation that puts the lives of civil servants in the 2 predominantly English-speaking northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon on the line.
This is not the first time we are having such a communique, because about some years back, the SDO of Opportunity did the same, especially for teachers, and I went ahead suspending the teachers or the salaries for some teachers in these areas, though the Minister of Higher Education or Secondary Education later on came out with a communique saying that he wasn't aware of such things. But their behavior is just as if the government careless about, or the administration careless about the lives of workers in times of armed conflict.
He says government should take into consideration the security of the state workers.
Most of these administrators writing this document are well secured wherever they are, and they move about with the security men protecting them. But most of these teachers and ordinary workers within different administrative services in these areas does not have security at all. So the government need to take that into consideration. It's either they make sure that this other civil servant in this area, all civil servants in this area are well secured by performing their duties, or they do everything possible to ensure that we have peace.
The government of Cameroon is once more urged to ensure the protection of state workers, all citizens, and above all, to solve the 7-year-long Anglophone crisis and the decade-old Anglophone problem.
Away from insecurity, economic experts say that there is an urgent need to strategize to boost export revenues and curtail import expenditures in the coming years in order to curb the widening trade deficit of the country that raises concerns about Cameroon's economic stability. This is contained in an external trade balance report of Cameroon from the National Institute of Statistics, which outlines a deficit. Femi Armstrong Sanda tells us more.
According to data released on May 8, 2024 by the National Institute of Statistics, Cameroon's trade balance deficit hit CFA 2,004 billion in 2023, marking its highest level since 2015. Year on year, these deficits surged by 40.3%, up from CFA 1,428 billion in 2022. In their words, the National Institute of Statistics analysts revealed that significant deteriorations in the trade balance is as a result of a 14.2% decline in export revenues, combined with a 1.7% increase in import expenditures in Cameroon. The decline in export revenues can be linked to the decreased sale of oil and natural gas, both which accounted for a 52% of national export earnings. During the period, the country's import expenditures soared by CFA 4,993 billion, driven by the purchase of fuel and lubricants, representing some 22.6% of total expenditures, as well as clinkers, representing some 1.8%. Worthy of note is the fact that since the fire incident at the National Oil Refinery Company's Sonara facilities in late May 2019, Cameroon has solely relied on petroleum products imported for its supply. The widening trade deficit, however, raises concerns about Cameroon's economic stability and underscores the need for strategies to boost export revenues and curtail import expenditures in the coming years.
And out of Cameroon, at least 11 passengers have been injured after their plane experienced a mishap going off the runway. Meantime, Chad's military leader, Mohamed Debi Itno, has been declared the winner for the proclamation of provisional results. These results were contested by his main rival, Prime Minister Succes Masra, who, for now, is asking for pacific manifestations. Details of these stories and more with Cedric Chakutio.
Boeing 737 plane carrying 85 people skidded off a runway at the airport in Dakar, Senegal's capital, injuring 10 people. According to the Minister of Transport El Malik Diaye, the Air Senegal flight operated by Transair was heading to Bamako in neighboring Mali late Wednesday with 79 passengers, while 2 pilots and 4 cabin crew. The injured were being treated at a hospital, while the others were taken to a hotel to rest. Elsewhere, Chad's military leader, Mohamed Debi Itno, was declared the winner of the week's presidential election according to provisional results released earlier on Thursday. The results were contested by his main rival, Prime Minister Succes Masra.
We as a united people owe this victory to you. The people placed us firmly in the lead from the first round, backed by verifiable counts from over 90% of the ballot boxes, validating a decisive win in the first round, a triumphant of change over the status quo of hope over the past.
The national agency that managed Chad's election released results on Monday's vote weeks earlier than planned. The figures showed Déby Itno won with just over 61% of the vote, with the runner-up Masra falling far behind with over 18.5% of the vote. Chad held its long-delayed presidential election following 3 years of military rule. Déby Itno, also known as Mahamad Idris Déby, seized power after his father, who spent 3 decades in power, was killed fighting rebels in 2021.
And now to our sports page, a 30-man pre-selected players of the Indomitable Lions has been made public by Mark Brees, head coach of the senior men's national football team. The list of Mark Brees contains some players like Michel Gandeux, who was considered banished from the team. Cameroon takes on Cape Verde and Angola next month. Smaji Kangero, the following report, makes an analysis of the players called up into the Lions' den.
7 new players will be having the baptism of fire as they put on the green, red, yellow colors of Cameroon come June, when the Indomitable Lions will be taking on Cape Verde and Angola in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. Carlos Baleba, James Eto, Ivan Dibango, Raul Danzabe, Guy Kilama, alongside 2 home-based players, Nchindo Jambosco of Young Sports Academy and Jules Amankwo of Astrov Douala. The list also saw the return of 2017 African Nations Cup winners Michael Ngandon Gandui, Fai Collins and Christian Basogok. Eric Maxime Chupumutin and Pierre Kunde Malong, who also missed out of the AFCON in Côte d'Ivoire, have been recalled. Brian Buemo, who was injured during the AFCON, will be back with the national football team. The greatest absentee from the list of Mark Brees includes Fabrice Ondwa Ebogo, Jean Onana, Olivier Kemen, Darlene Yongwa, Enzo Chato, Junior Chamade, Ben Elliott, Omar Gonzalez, Frank Magri and Nje Clinton. Cameroon takes on Cape Verde under the control of Mark Brees on June 3, 2024 in a Day 3 encounter of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers.
In sports, a meeting scheduled to take place at the premises of Fecafoot headquarters in Tinga, Yaoundé, didn't go on as planned after some of the invitees, amongst them Mark Brees, failed to show up. According to the scribe of the Cameroon Football Federation, Blaise Junang, it was a meeting for the newly appointed officials of the Indomitable Lions led by Mark Brees to meet up with the National Technical Director, Angel Mbaga. Smaji Kangero paints the atmosphere at the Fecafoot headquarters this morning in this report.
It was a rather calm morning at the premises of the Cameroon Football Federation, Fecafoot, in Chinga. It was a day set aside for the first tete-a-tete between the National Technical Director of Football, Angel Bembalga, and the recently appointed officials of the Indomitable Lions. The early birds at the Chinga neighborhood were Martin Tungumpile and his assistant David Pagu. A meeting that was supposed to start at 11 a.m. finally started at about 10 minutes after 11 a.m. This was after a long wait for the arrival of Mark Brees and his assistants to no avail. The meeting will go ahead without their presence. According to the Secretary General of Fecafoot, Jungnam Blaise, the absence of some of the appointed officials by Fecafoot, amongst them Idris Carlos Kamini, excluding Mark Brees, was due to administrative reasons. The meeting was later adjourned for another day.
That's it for the first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Tonight on Talking Point, I'll be receiving George Nebashu, President of Rangers FC of Bafut, that is in the Northwest region. Good evening. It is a pleasure having you on Talking Point tonight. The relationship between Fecafoot and MINSEP has been very tense for a while now. What do you make of the ongoing Cold War?
The problem between Fecafoot and the ministry is all about personal interest, because for a long time now, all the staff have been appointed by the ministry. So I don't know why today the president of the federation, President Samuel Ito, those who want to recognize this staff, that means there's a hidden agenda behind that.
George Nemba, why do you think there is a hidden agenda behind their actions?
When I talk about hidden agenda, it's all about power. And then, and when you look at the level of the staff, they are not arguing about the coach. Their main focus is on the who is going to manage the finance of the government. Because if you can set you are not okay with the appointment of the coach, then at the end you should accept the coach, but changing other members, that means you are not for the football, you are for something else. Because when he said that he was going to appoint a new committee, we were expecting him to change the whole of the staff. But he said he's okay with the coach, but he has the right to change the other members. That's why I said they are after something, not for football.
But now, Mark Breeze, who was retained in the appointment made by Fecafoot, was invited to a maiden meeting with his other members appointed by Fecafoot, but he wasn't present. What are your thoughts about this boycott?
To be honest with you, when the head of state came out on the 10th of February, he did not say he appointed federation to look into our football. He said the Minister of Youth and Sport should look clear into the football. So the minister cannot appoint a coach, and then the president of the federation appoint another committee and then expect the coach to come and sit with them and hold a meeting. Even if they want to hold a meeting, they need to follow the modalities, because if you see there will be an infighting between the minister and the federation. Now the coach have not yet discussed with the federation or with the president of Fecafoot and see if there's a way forward. So now I did not believe the coach should even go there for that meeting, because he was not called by the federation president. He was called by the secretary general. Already that is a lack of respect.
In a just ended press conference, Mark Breeze presented a list of players to participate in the upcoming 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers in June. Are you satisfied with the choice of players, and can they give us the necessary results Cameroonians have been expecting?
With the choice of players, you can see that there are players that were left out at the last Nation Cup. And then when Mark Breeze came in, he said, okay, he's going to take a talk with the players and see what, because to rule with the Cameroon Football Federation or to be a coach with the national team of Cameroon, you really need to talk with the players, because there are so many things behind that. So he took his time, went around, discussed with the coach and with the players, and see if he can solve one or two problems. And then when you come to the choice of the players, for me, I'm really satisfied, but not that satisfied, because you have 2 or 3 players that the names appear on the list. But for me, a player like Basogok is already an age player. I don't see him coming back to give us a good result. But it's just the first list, and then the coach was talking about young players between 24 and 25 years. You can see that Five Collins came back. It's already a good step up, because when you look at our last matches, we never have a right out player that can play that wing. You can see a player like John Bosco, at least from the local league, and you boost the morale of majority of the players of Northwest to work hard.
Do you think the ongoing Cold War between Fecafoot and MINSEP will lead to Cameroon having another normalization committee?
The way things are going is already working towards that direction, because now the coach just came out with a list. He has to channel that list to the federation, because normally the federation is there to send the invitation to the clubs. Now I don't know whether the federation will be okay with the list, or the days ahead you will still see the federation coming out with another list. So for me, I'm seeing the same direction.
In your opinion, what can be done to calm the tension between Fecafoot and MINSEP?
The two parties have to sit as a family and keep their differences and work for the interests of the football Cameroonians, or work for the interests of the football in this country. They should not be infighting, because where things are going, this issue of infighting will still stay if they continue this way.
Are you confident that the new coach, Mark Breeze, can perform better than the former one?
The problem with our coaches is they have to leave them to work freely. They should not emphasize of what they are going to do. At least we already recruit the coach. The coach is confident. He has so many works to do, and he has a very good staff technique that will accompany him. It's not a one-day job. They have to, at least because the way things are going, they have a challenge ahead of them. We should not judge them because of these 2 months they are coming. We should give them enough time for them to show what they are capable. But I believe in the coach, and I believe he will make Cameroonians proud.
Now, Josh Ineba, let's go away from MINSEP and fighting with Fecafoot. Let's now talk something else. The Elite One Championship ended a few weeks ago with Victoria United crowned as champions. Are you satisfied with how events unfolded in the last Elite One Championships?
Madame Immaculate, for the past 2 years, our league has been a fiasco, because some of us are just there to accompany the league, because you cannot say a president of a club, I don't want to call the name of the club, will start a league from the first day and he will tell us that he will be champion. I don't know why, and I don't know whether he's the Messiah. The same thing in Elite 2. When the team came to Elite 2, he said he was going to go to first division, and then it just happened. And then you have infighting, players suspended because of age. For me, the league really need to be cancelled, because there was no league in Cameroon. Because you cannot play a league with 93 of your players. You are the one giving them the license, and then you suspend 93 of their players that because of age problem, and then you want us to believe that the league was okay. No.
But then don't you think if a president of a club is convinced about the quality of his players, it's very normal that he makes such utterances?
At least it depends on the players you recruit, but playing a first day of play and said you are going to be champion, that means you have something that you are counting on. At least you did not say I'll be among the first 4. You said you were going to be champion. And then look at the situation at the playoff. When you see the match between Canon and Young Sport Academy, they knew that Young Sport won Opopo, and if Young Sport at the last day beat Colombe, Young Sport was going to be the champion of Cameroon. What they did was to sanction Young Sport because of the misunderstanding, the problem they have between their supporters and the referees. And when it comes to that situation like that, normally, as the FIFA rule said, they have to sanction the supporters to go into the fee, and the club pay some amount of money. They don't have to withdraw, deduct them any point. So when they did all those things like that, was to favor Opopo to become champion.
Thank you so much for being part of Talking Point tonight. That was George Nebashu, President of Rangers FC of Bafut, and that's what put an end to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much for your keen attention. Stay in the company of more interesting programs on Equinoxe TV. Up next is Equinoxe Soir.